right, good morning, everybody. Morning, Shaky. What are you thinking, Shaky? Polly, good morning. What are you thinking as well? We got some, we got a little chicken scratch up here. You know what I mean? Oil. I know, I just saw oil. I'm thinking this could be a 3-day setup, but it's already skedaddling. Scooting. Breakouts failed. Down moving market, pump for a dump. Could be. Oh, yesterday was a first green day. Yesterday was a first green day and a breakout day one, but that doesn't mean it has to go back up, of course. I thought some of the indexes were looking okay, at least as far as thesis goes, right? We have first red day, and then there's peak formation high, peak formation low, so maybe a 3-day rectangle being formed and built. No, I know, Joseph. We're letting some people flow in here. I'm just running my mouth before we even get started. You know it's going to be a good session when I'm running my mouth before we even get started. Elite, good morning. Royo, good morning. Yeah, we've got some big news announcements. Heck, I should prep for that so I can show you all. Ooh, they've added something to the schedule. Hot garbage. They have added something to the schedule. That hurts. It hurts my soul. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're in the world. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing fantastic coming into this Friday morning or maybe afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. This is not financial advice. The information on this channel is provided for education, informational purposes only, without express supply warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. Nice. Read this, please. Pause stream if you need to. It's going away. All right, we're going to start out with the news schedule today. All right, we've got some things. They've added an event to the news schedule, so I've pulled this up. We don't have to worry about any of this. All right, earlier this week, we did have some pretty big announcements. We had PPI yesterday. We've had in the front half of the week, we had CPI, which is very large news announcements. And we even talked about a little bit this week, maybe it's setting up for the back half of the week. Maybe the big setup is going to be on Friday, right? So today we've had 8:30 core retail. So we'll take a look at the 8:30, has anything propelled itself up or down, and we'll see. Maybe that's going to affect, our later session setups. Then we have 10 a.m., this inflation piece here. All right. And then probably the most important thing on here, which is extremely unfortunate, is this one right here. All right. Because we could have a 10 a.m. news announcement, and I've already seen it on the NASDAQ. They put in a high, they put in a low yesterday, and we're sitting here like this. I don't know. I really don't know. So we're gonna have to be patient, as always. And just keep that in mind. Starting on the NASDAQ, as always. Let's get rid of this. In fact, you know what? Let's get real fancy today. Let's start completely from scratch. Okay, we'll start even over here, and we'll notice they broke out, they closed in breakout. Fantastic. They've gone back to the high of the previous week. I'm going to get that up there now. And we're kind of just floating up here on top of the high of previous week. So maybe a breakout. It could be a breakout, right? This could also just be maybe an area where the breakout could fail. Market only does three things. So we're going to look and see, is this going to fail today? Or is this going to pull back and continue to go higher? But I need to be able to associate this with some kind of 3-day setup. So let's take a look and see, do we have a 3-day setup to actually look for, to actually wait for, and actually be able to execute off of? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, looking at templates instead of, just what do I think it's going to do? There's templates that are in the market. We have 3 days of breakouts. We've got first red and first green. We've got inside bar setups, 3-day opportunities. There's also 5 and 7-day patterns. There's even, there's different bar patterns over the course of time that will show up and different templates. In this case, I have noticed that on Wednesday, we put in a high, basically a failed breakout, right? They put in a peak formation high. And then on Thursday, yesterday, they put in a peak formation low, something like this. So now we're looking at this type of template, maybe a 3-day rectangle. So let's just highlight that. All right, we've got the peak formation high from Wednesday, failing breakout, and this was also a first red day on that Wednesday. And then yesterday, all right, I always make jokes about this, but very seriously, we've got market going higher. Market make lower low. Does market continue to go lower? I don't know. So I'm actually going to get rid of this. Is this going to be a lower low? Peak formation low, whatever you want to call it. I put question mark. It is, somewhat objectively. We've made a high. We had this little low down here. We broke the low. We went lower. Did they actually close that? They even closed a 1-hour bar down like that, which is nice to see. A pretty strong V-bottom reversal off of that, and we've kind of just been consolidating here, which could be okay as long as they continue to squeeze us down lower. I'm fine with that. They could surprise us all. They could just keep going up. I don't know. Oh, man, that hurts. I don't like that. I don't like that we keep on slamming back down and it's not going any lower. So let's do this. On the day, we've made higher highs and higher lows. So now I've basically narrowed things down. I've narrowed it down. Okay, I've got it all the way down now to, on the day, what is it supposed to be doing? Well, if I want to take a short, I need to make lower lows and lower highs. So let's figure out, is it doing that? Based off of structural rules, we had a higher high put in place, and then they slammed down, and they did make a lower low. And then it had not pulled back. They did not close any lower. They did not pull back until over here. This bar closed a little bit lower, and then we have a 2-bar pullback, confirming this as a swing low. The unfortunate part of this is now we're just sitting in consolidation between this high here and this low in a potentially down moving market. If we get follow through, some kind of continuation to go down, that is what I will be looking for. Okay, US 30, 15-minute chart. Zooming out, we've got 6 minutes to the open. Day 1 breakouts up, day 2 breakouts up, day 3 breakouts up. What do I look for after 3 days of breakouts? Who in the little chat box can tell me? Could be looking for a short, sure, but I need to see some. I needed to see something really definitive in order for me to really be looking for that. Looking for a sell high. Good. So in this case, we've been making higher highs and higher lows. We've got 3 days of shorts in the market, or 3 days of longs in the market, 3 days of breakouts in the market. I am looking for the market to put in on the day a lower low. So they've rallied to a high. They've came down. They did make the lower low. Honestly, right now, I like this more than the NASDAQ. And I'll tell you why. Okay, so over here, we've got 3 sessions of breakouts on day 3 at the high of the current week. So the trade, the setup would be 3 days of longs in the market. It has started to confirm, and I'm going to take it back to my levels. Now, how far away is those levels? 100 pips. Okay, so that's not bad. AK-47, we have red news at 10. Yes. Maybe you might have came in just after I finished the beginning of the stream, AK. We were just going over the news schedule, and President Trump is speaking tentatively. We don't know when, which is unfortunate. But let's go to the 15, and we're going to go back to gold. So to recap and just to summarize, we've got 3 sessions of breakout on day 3, which is a part of that setup. That is that part of that playbook setup. This one here. All right, we've got a few different variants that I like to look for or see. We've got the breakout. We've got a base. We've got space. I like to see ramps into the high and a strong reversal back down to the levels. 3 peak pattern. 3 peaks, 3 peaks, 3 peaks. Back down to the levels. Base, space, ramp. 3 peaks, 3 sessions, base, space, levels. Okay, that's the setup I'm looking for. Let's go to gold. Looking at gold. I need to delete all this. I can't see. There we go. Oh, boy. Let me zoom out. What has it been doing? We had a breakout day 1. We had a Tuesday that was a first green and a rally to the high that is now essentially put in what could be a lower high. And now we have breakout day 1 to the downside. And a chicken scratch market. Okay, so the only trade setup that I could actually take with this, no, I think the only setup that I could possibly take is just a trend trade to continue to go lower. It would have been nice to have seen them trigger the previous day's low. You know, to be honest and to be fair, I don't really think I know. Day 1, day 2, we had put in I guess they did put in a peak high and a peak low. I'll come back to that. Ooh. Right. This one, we've gone up once, twice. Didn't quite get there. This was a first red day yesterday. The sneaky Russell at it again, all the way down here. And they've triggered the low. So day 1 pump. Really, this was kind of like a combination. 2 days of pump, trigger the low. They've pumped it back up off the low after first red day. On the day. What are we doing on the day? Definitely has made a lower low. Okay, so we've made this lower low. Popped up, gone into consolidation. We're into the New York Open now. Nat gas, yep. All right, I'm hurrying. Trying. Okay, we got oil. We had a breakout on Wednesday that is also broke out on Thursday, which is, there's a low and a high. Breakout has possibly failed, but this is also a first green day and breakout day one. So let's do that. If I couldn't see anything that was happening today, what would I have been looking for? I would have taken this like this, said, hey, that's first green day. I would project that breakout level across, and it would look something kind of like this. Okay, now on the day, is it making higher highs and higher lows? It is not. We even have kind of a 3 peaks here at the breakout level to go lower. I wouldn't mind watching oil. Either this setup here where it's a trend back to the low. This is the stop hunt. All these people are trapped. You got peak 1, peak 2, peak 3. Longs trapped at the high. And they're going to go back down and stop them out. Maybe. Or the first green. We'll see. All right, 9:31. I need to get all my charts back up. We got oil up here. Let's put NASDAQ up here. US 30. We got gold. And we've got oil. Gold I really wasn't too sure on. I think I should probably just substitute the Russell in there. And I need to get my other screen set up. ASAP rock and roo. 9:32. We got 30 minutes to the news. NASDAQ is moving. Do you watch higher high on 1 minute? I don't really use the 1 minute for like just straight up structure stuff. Now, if the 5 minute or the 15 or something like that has made, different structural breaks, I will look at the 1 minute and say, hey, this, is doing this or that. Right. This is unfortunate because they're about to come down and hit the level. They've just completed the trading setup without me in the trade. That's unfortunate. However, the NASDAQ has not. Yeah, the indexes are looking pretty good. They're looking pretty solid. We're about to be 5 minutes into the open. Very wide range bar, which could either indicate that the next bar will jump and continue the move very aggressively, or we could see a larger retracement because of that. It's hard to say or hard to tell. Let's see here. Everything is completing the patterns really well. It's just a shame that it completed it all in one giant bar. Yeah, maybe, Sam. I mean, I probably wouldn't take it because that's not my setup. I'm looking for the first red. We always build up, peak formation high, peak formation low on a day, making lower lows and lower highs. We're broken down. It's a 3-day setup, peak high to a lower low. Looking for it to follow through today. Okay, I want to be fully transparent with you all. I shorted the NASDAQ with 5 contracts right here on a limit order. And I've just removed 4 of those contracts as it was pinning back down. And I am now at break even on that last contract. I am looking for on this last, as long as it continues to follow through, hopefully it doesn't go back up and stop me out of break even. I'm going to put my final take profit down at the previous day's low. And that is, like I said, as long as they do not stop me out of break even at this point. In fact, I might even add back in if this bar pins up like that and then there's follow through on the next bar, I might even add back in. Okay, that's a big if. 1, 2, I'm not going to add in a lot more because I don't want to move my average too much. Okay, I don't want my average to move. I need it to just kind of stay where it is. So I'm not going to get in a whole, really big. But I'm looking for about 80 points. If it does follow through, if it does not stop me out here at break even, I'm looking for about 80 points. Shoe buddy. Nipsey, are you in on that blow off on the Russell? If so, I might have to get up out of my chair and start dancing around on the table for you. That's good stuff. Got in at a good price. That's what I like to see. And the Pips to Profit live stream on a Friday. Everyone just thriving, I hope. We do have news at 10. I'm still watching the clock. I am making sure that I am not in at that news announcement. I don't care what it's doing. I will not be in at that news announcement. I have just dragged my stop in profit 20 points. So my stop right now on the NASDAQ is sitting right here. I'm locking in 20. If they pin back up into this already pin high, you know, they've pinned up. If they're pinning down now and they're going to lock me in consolidation, no, they're not. They're going to lock me in at 20 points. Ooh, big V bottom off of US 30. Yeah, US 30 is the only one that's going to go back up though, right? Wink, wink, right? It's the only one. Surely US 30 is the only one that's going to V bottom. The Russell and the NASDAQ are going to keep going lower, right? All right, we're all on the same page. Let's see. Yeah? All right, this bar is expanding a little bit more. That's good. That's good. I'm going to protect 25. I'm protecting 25 points. It's following through a little bit more. Big push down. I'm going to protect. No, I'm not. I think I'm going to hold 30. I'm good with that. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good with that. Take it, Cam. I took it. I'm good with that. Almost 20, basically 20 points on on 4 contracts, and then taking the 5th at 30 points. Yeah. Heck yeah, Mustang. How'd you all do? Did anybody else get in on this? That's what I like to hear. And that's why I don't that's part of it's mostly just because I'm like focused on my own position. I don't want to, you know, my main thoughts when I'm getting in is this the right place to enter? It's not. I should announce it to everybody, you know. But also to hear things like that, Mustang, that like, oh, I saw the short before Cam even said something. It's like that means that these streams are doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is teaching people to fish instead of giving you fish. Jay Mills. All right. NASDAQ, let's break it down. I'm about to click the wrong thing. Market's been going up. Market had a first red day on Wednesday. Market did not really follow through that much on Thursday, but it did trigger the previous day's low, which is good. Day 1, day 2. It pumped back up off of the low that it had created on day 2. This was the lower low right here. So this lower low resulted in a consolidation. So we're looking for it to break down and basically follow through back down towards that low. Is it going to make it there? I don't know. All I know is if it starts to behave a certain way, I should participate. Okay, that's all I know. When I see up until this point right here, right there, right? I can't see into the future. I wish I could. It'd be awesome. But as of right here, that's what the thought process needs to be. We've been going up. We had a first red. It didn't really follow through, but it did make a lower low. Let's see what it does tomorrow. And if it starts to behave a certain way, let's take it, you know? Market pumps up, breaks down, makes lower lows and lower highs. Okay, that's the very first step. Again, I can't see into the future. All I can see is that it just broke structure and made a lower low. I should have been in I should still be in this. That's unfortunate. Anyways, that's the break in structure, the lower low. That's on the day now telling me, hey, you silly goose, be watching this. And then on the open, which is the time of day for an index that I want to be trading, it breaks and confirms. I am now allowed to enter into the market whenever I think is appropriate. I'm green light. Now, this is a really, really wide range bar. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I should have definitely probably not trailed as tight with that stop. It's okay though. It's all right. It's okay. Still really good trade. The breakdown, when it popped back up here, this is about 50% of the range. Okay. So if I were to get in here, it's not about, oh no, the bar's still going up. It was more about, I'm going to get in here because I can put my stop just a little bit higher. Look, there's some people going long over here. There's this guy going long here. I really felt comfortable about a stop in this area. Okay, so I got in. I almost top ticked this. I'm not sitting here trying to, I don't do that a lot. I don't top tick things a lot. It's not something that I'm like aiming to do. I just looked at the range and said, where do I think people are caught? I'm going to go a little bit lower and try and get in because I can put my stop in a very good place. Okay. Got in, started to come back down. I exited a lot of the position just to make sure. I left some on. It started to follow through, and I got out the rest of the way. Okay. Now, I should have probably managed this slightly different because of the setup. This is very good. This is very clean. I did get in a lot bigger than you all have seen me earlier in the week. A lot bigger. So I probably should have just maybe got out with 3 instead of 4. Held on to 2. But this is phenomenal. I've never heard that, Jay. I don't know for sure. I'm telling you, I haven't watched his stuff in probably years at this point. I just know what you all tell me. Well, the weekly breakout was down. The weekly breakout was down from Friday. So whenever a market makes a new extreme, right? So if the market's been making higher highs and higher lows, consider this, say this is a previous week's low, right? And the market breaks that, which it did over here. This is what we're looking at. Whenever a new extreme is formed, the other extreme becomes we'll call it a value area or an area that needs to hold, right? Because just because it's made a lower low here does not mean it will continue to go lower. The market will go back to retest either in the form of a lower high or in the form of a high that consolidates and fails, or sometimes this is a reset and then it continues to go higher. So it's our job to kind of figure out which one of those things it's going to be. And in this case, it was very clear what it was going to do because it was doing all of the things that we needed it to. cheese and rice. I should have. That stinks. It's okay. It's okay. I'm not mad. It was still a fantastic trade. Don't be greedy. I should have just held on a little bit longer, though. All right, let's take a look at other things. We got US 30. Nice. The only reason I didn't like US 30 was because on US 30, just kind of like the NASDAQ, where the level that I should have really been taking profit was down here. On US 30, the area that I take profit is this right here. And they hit it all in one bar. So it's like, well, my profit target was already hit, so I can't really do too much. Now, in this case, on this setup, it might actually be going a little bit further. I don't know for sure. I have seen this exact setup in specific instances where it does go from up high, and then they take it all the way down low. So it's certainly not impossible. I just drew a UFO on the screen without even thinking about it. What in the world? Anyways, let's go. We'll go to gold. Okay, gold. I honestly wasn't sure. Like I said, the only thing that I could possibly have done was maybe a trend trade because we're in breakout down, and they had traveled and ran that level a few times, but I just didn't. I wasn't really sure because this looks to me kind of like chicken scratch. It's like kindergartner's handwriting for the market. Really wasn't sure. The Russell, yeah. I don't know who took this. No, I do know who took this. It was Nipsey. Nipsey, I hope you did well on this. But this template is beautiful. That's why whenever we were going through the intro and I was going through the analysis part, this one made me stop and pause because I was like, dang, that is a big rally to the high and a solid first red day. That is broken down on the day. It looks good. That's clean. That's very clean. And then it even gave us the little 3 peaks consolidation. Oil. Okay, this was a first green. So I wasn't really watching oil because first green, which is fine, but it's still in breakout and going up, which is good. But the breakout has potentially failed. They've flipped it a little bit instead of resting and being on top and making higher highs and higher lows, which is what I would want to see after a first red day or a first green day, excuse me. It's making lower lows and lower highs, which is weird. Nelly, so Cam, are those your lifetime watch list to trade? Are you talking about these here? The little green flags? Nelly? Like these 5 pairs right here? I've seen Michigan be major red. I've seen it be orange. I guess it really just depends on the day. Let me get a picture for you all real quick. So you all can laugh at me if you'd like. There you go. Super textbook. Not a textbook entry or exit, excuse me. I definitely think that I should have on this one held my conviction to hold for that previous day's low, but we'll be journaling. We'll be journaling on this one for sure. It was too clean. It was too clean to get out that early. I should have held for that 80 points. Nat Gas was playbook. No. Yes, Nelly. So here's the thing. Simplicity, right? The template is above all other things. Okay? It doesn't matter what country that I go to, 1 + 1 is still going to equal 2. It doesn't matter where I go, 1 + 1 is still going to equal 2. Okay? So it does not matter what instrument I go to. The template is still the template. Now I am looking for those templates on these 5 instruments. It gives me a small basket to work from, but it keeps me from having to go and look through 40 plus pairs. I also trade futures, so I don't really have the luxury. I don't really have the luxury of a lot of those instruments, those pairs. I guess it's hard to hold on size. No, it was just more of just a, I get content. I'm up. I know how many contracts I've had on there, and I know how many ticks I'm up, which automatically does the math in my brain, and I'm like, nah, that's good enough. And I think that limits me a lot. It limits me a lot, and that's something that I've told you all. I've been very open about in the past about that's my thing that I'm really trying to work on. I really like my entries. I really love my process. I really love my money management, my trade management. I don't love the fact that I'm the opposite of greedy. And it's not even out of fear. I'm just content. And I think that's probably my life outside of trading, probably carrying over into this space. I become content. I'm like, oh, this is fine. That's good enough. Instead of trying to push the boundary, I'm just like, that's fine. Looks good. And then I close. All right. That is my thing that I'm working on. But I need to work on it a little bit harder. I think that I should maybe manage whenever I get into a trade. Maybe I should just manage on, I'll just hold it here on this time frame. Be like, oh, this is supposed to be a bigger trade. Just go to like a 15 or a 1 hour or something and just watch that thing bob up and down. It is a blessing. It absolutely is a blessing because I care just enough to have a little bit of ambition, but not enough that at any point in life I'm unhappy with the amount of things that I have. Material things to me they matter, but they don't matter that much. Content. Let's see here. Is there something like 10 a.m. club reversal? I don't know where all of a sudden you all started popping up in here talking about 10 a.m. I don't know. I take a lot of trades before 10 a.m. I know that you all have heard and seen other people say otherwise. And that's great. There's a lot of trades that come before 10 a.m. There is a 10 a.m. news announcement that we're about to hit. I think that the session is the session and the trade is the trade if it shows up after 9:30. I would say anything before 9:30 could be What in the world do we got going on here? Yeah, but they trapped and shifted right here. They trapped and they shifted, and it's 9:30. So do I just not take it because it's not 10 o'clock? That's my problem with limiting. Like, I have got to trade only, you know, like after 9:30 makes sense because that's when the market opens. And if you just look at the chart, you can tell, you know, first hour does whatever it's going to do, but the market's open. And if the setup is there, why would I have to? Oh, well, it's not 10 o'clock, so I'm just not going to take this 80-point move. I mean, I get it. But at the same time, I guess I don't. They can trap and shift all over the place. That one was at 10. Oh, it was 9:45. Are we trapping and shifting? Anywhere between 7 and 15-ish. It really depends on the pattern that's developed night. On a really good, like high momentum first bounce opportunity, 7 to 15 minutes. All right. On something that has maybe broke out and has a little bit longer of a pullback, it could be 45 minutes to an hour. They pull back and then it starts to make the run. You get a low hanging fruit back to the high or the low of the day. Let's see. What do they say? Michigan consumer sentiment. That's funny because this was like the news event. This news event right here that's red on TradingView did not even show up on Forex Factory. 1, 2. There's some. I feel like there's much more important news events at 10 o'clock than this one. And they've decided to show us this one, which, you know, I mean, I'm just some guy on YouTube. What do I know? But I just feel like the inflation numbers is probably more important, right? 5 minute. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, Nelly, the reason I said 7 minutes is because 7 minutes, you know, the halfway point of a 15-minute bar, you'll see a lot of the true move start to come out. Either follow through or reversal. Wow. Let me go over here. I need to go to Forex Factory. Okay, President Trump speaks. Okay, prelim inflation expectations. These are the numbers that just came out. And I know that these don't really, these are not this is not a trading setup, but I just get curious now with all the stuff that's been going on. It is interesting. Will I use it for my trading? No. Do I find it interesting? Sure. I guess I should have made it easier for you all to understand and see whenever I clip this, because then you would actually be able to see all the right things. Let me do this. Okay, so we've got the numbers that have just came out. Consumer sentiment. I guess that came in worse than expected. Sales are down, I guess. Yeah, Nelly, and that could also be part of why I'm so like okay with getting out, you know? Because how many times have we seen an instrument do this where it makes some giant run and you think, I mean, look at this. Honestly, let's just look at it from a psychology standpoint. Biggest bar. Let's zoom out. Other than this one, those are the biggest two bars on the chart that we have seen in days. I guess maybe from like back over here, these were pretty big. And then it V-bottom reversals and goes straight back up. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, look at this. Look how much momentum this is showing us. And then it just all of a sudden is like, you know? Yeah, you gotta click that button eventually that says, hey, I think I'm good with this. All jokes, of course. But you do gotta, yeah, you gotta pay yourself, absolutely. Absolutely. Silly goose bars. I guess that's what we could call them, huh? Yeah. Here we go. There we go. Now it's accurate. All right, oil continuing to make lower lows. We've broken down. We popped back up. I don't think that's a setup that I'd be willing to take, though, after a first green day. That doesn't make any sense. Especially in a market that's been going down for, I don't know how many days. Let's see here. I know what I'm doing right now is extremely important. Forgive me. I don't have anything else to talk about right this very second, so here we go. We're modifying our previous. I have to make Nipsey happy. There we go. Much better. Let's see. Gold. Wouldn't Monday be day one shorts, Tuesday day two shorts, and Thursday the third shorts are trapped? Let's go take a look. No, so there's a reset, right? They've reset the. Okay, so the whole purpose. Let's talk about this, Don. This is good. This is a good point you brought up. The whole point of this setup, right? Whenever you have a series of I'm going to use this as a box, right? Obviously, it's colored in or whatever, but we'll just consider this previous day's high and previous day's low. Whenever you have something kind of like this, where you've got 3 days of higher highs and higher lows, and you'll notice this on if you were to delete all of the bars and just look at the levels, right? If I were to go here and delete all the candles, you would see the levels trailing up or down. You might even be able to draw a little trend line on these, but the most important thing is they've been lifting price or dumping price for multiple days in a row. And each time that happens, they are forcing people to buy up high. They're forcing people to buy up high, up high, up high. And each time that people are forced to buy up high, they're putting money down at the other end of that range because that's where their stops are going on a higher time frame, or maybe in the middle of a range or something like that. But that builds up order flow, so that way when it consolidates up high, starts to break down, it can come back down very quickly and come back for this money. Right? It has to come back for the money eventually. So the purpose of the setup is to go back for the money. So if there's no money to go back for, I think I've just removed my... No, I didn't. You said Monday, day one. We've got day one shorts. There we go. Sorry. Day one shorts in the market. Yes, I agree. We've got day two shorts in the market. Yes, I agree. But then we reset the count because we've triggered on the other side of the range. So they've gone back for the money. They've hit it. They've gone back for the money. They've hit it. And now we might be looking for a different setup. Don, does that make sense? Now we're looking for a first green day, but that's based off of, excuse me, not a first green day. Wrong chart. Wrong chart. All right, great. I was thinking about the oil chart. My bad. Oh no, my bad. Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about, Rents. This looks like just absolute chicken scratch. I don't even really want to pay attention to it because we just keep whipping back and forth. You know, it'd be really hard to tell. It'd be really hard to tell what it's going to do. We closed in breakout. Sure. Great. We're still at the low of the week. It hasn't gone any lower. I would be willing to wait for maybe a first green day. Like another second little first green day, because this is like first green, rally to the high. They make a higher high day one. Something like this. Dump it back into the low of the week and fail to go lower. If we get a second first green day here, maybe we're going to see a little curl. Maybe. This is all speculation. I don't know until things actually happen, but you know, it's a big maybe. Russell's Dang. Some of these charts today, I told you all at the beginning of the week, and I think yesterday as well, when you come to the screen and it's just, this is beautiful. This is the best chart I think I've ever seen. I know exactly what I'm doing, and it starts to follow through. It's beautiful. This chart, everybody should be, I should hear camera shutters from here. Everyone taking pictures of this thing. I was in it. I was here. I was there. Dang. Right? Look at this. They lift price for 2 days. First red day, make a lower low. They pump it back up off the low. Hey, so remember yesterday, I think I went over these templates yesterday. Whenever you get a first red day, a first green day, breakout day one, looking for reversal or trending opportunities, you know, what types of templates do we want to see on this day? What templates do we want to see on this day right here? Excluding all of this, I've already received a signal. Great. What template do we want to see right here? All right. And I described a few of them yesterday. Either for a short, right? We want to see them trigger the previous day's low, pop it back up, go into consolidation, and then go vertical back down to or through previous day's low. That was one of them. Number two, if they don't trigger the previous day's low, They have to pop it back up, go into consolidation, make the lower low on the day, and then we'll get some follow through. That could be one of the variants. That's the second one. Or variant 3, I come to the screen. They've already broken out of the previous day's low. They've pulled back. Bottom of the box becomes the top of the box, and then we get the follow through. All right. And I can take all 3 of those scenarios, flip it over, and now you all of you, all 80 people in here know exactly what to look for on any given day. On any given day. It was a breakout day yesterday. It was a first red or a first green day yesterday. It was 3 days of breakouts yesterday or today. Maybe they trigger it on the day. Oh, maybe I should look for one of those 3 scenarios. Easy. Simple. Not easy. Simple, at least, right? Once you can identify those and you can kind of tell which ones look better or are doing better things, all you got to worry about is not butchering the entry and the exits. What is the NASDAQ doing? Holy cow. It's so funny because everything else is just tanking. And then the NASDAQ's like, nah, I'm going to go back. I'm going back up. I am going back up. Studio. I'm going to let everybody else in the chat answer that for you. I think that 9:30 is the open. Sometimes there are trades there. Sometimes there's not. Sometimes the new hour coming into 10 o'clock or maybe 45 minutes into the hour is the trade. So it doesn't have to be right at 10. It could be 9:45. That's 45 minutes into an hour. That's good. New hour, 10 o'clock. That's good. 9:30 to 9:45 is a 15-minute opening range for the session. You can also have a 5-minute opening range for the session. Toby Crable talks about, in a percentage of cases, about 20 to 30% of the time, you'll have an opening drive at 9:30 where the first 5-minute bar is larger than a certain amount of days prior, and then the second bar is equal in size, and that's supposed to be your I should be entering. And it should be a trend day or a strong moving momentum day. It really depends. Is the setup there or not? That's probably the biggest thing. Yeah, sometimes 9:30 is the trade, sometimes 9:30 is the manipulation, exactly. But sometimes you can still trade the manipulation because it's fast. Oh, it's at 9:30 when you get in on a manipulated move. Maybe it's a stop hunt, right? Maybe they're stop hunting into the low before the move to go back up. You can still be getting in and getting out over and done with, and it's nice. Yeah, exactly. Like my rule, trading after 9:30, I didn't used to have that rule. I used to have a soft, it was a soft, I'm going to trade after 9:30, and now it's very like, I don't even show up. When you all see me come and you know, my little thing goes live, I have just sat down to look at the charts. So 9:15, I'm not monitoring this stuff. When I turn off the stream and I go about my day, I'm not looking at the charts anymore. I don't even think about trading all day long. Till tomorrow. When I wake up and come in here at 9:15 and click the little button and we all hang out together for a bit. I just don't see any reason to. My performance before 9:30 consistently showed 50-50 results. Now there are some really good first hour trades, but they're I'm not going to say harder to predict. But to me, think about how much if the first hour was the move, right? Let's say that I come for 9:30 and I see at 8 o'clock they've already made a huge move. Think about how much information that just fed you. The move already happened. What am I doing? I either need to look for a different setup or something. Right? Or maybe today's a trash day. That just fed you all of the information that you need for the session. In a lot of cases, right? They told you, don't trade. Go away. See you tomorrow. Anyways. I'm having a good Friday. I don't know about you all. Trading session was great. For anybody who's just joined in, I did short the NASDAQ earlier. Right over here on this bar. Held on to it till about right here. Actually, I think it popped back up. It might have stopped me out somewhere over here. But either way, fantastic trade. Unfortunately, I missed out on a little bit. This was my original target too, which kind of stinks. And the only reason I got stopped out is because I pulled my stops a little too tight. I didn't close manually. I got stopped out in profit. It's unfortunate. But it happens. It's okay. Anybody who's just coming in here who's new, they're probably not even subscribed if they're sitting in here, which means they can't type, but they probably just popped in here and just see geese in a V formation. They're probably, what trading setup is that? Well, let's do some rounds. What else looked good today? We got the Euro USD. What do I have in here? So this is kind of what I was talking about with gold. If you look at this chart, you notice how it was, it's been going up a little bit, and then we rallied to higher highs. So it broke down, it rallied to higher highs, it pulled back, and then is now going vertical. This is kind of what my thoughts were on gold a little bit, just because it's been going down, and then we've kind of got this two peaks to a higher high, and then a pullback. The pullback, it's not really showing a lot of strength. It's kind of showing a little bit of weakness. And also, obviously, this is just absolute doo-doo. There's no way that this is tradable. Let's see, FTSE. I am so blind. Is this one okay? Nice. Wow. Okay, so this is 3 days of longs in the market. Yep. And then on the day today. Broke. Oh, this is very similar to the others as well. 3 days of longs in the market. They broke down to lower lows. They rallied off the low, creating a space for the market to fall through. They've lifted price. They've lifted price. And they've lifted price without going anywhere. And then it broke back down. Broke down, gone sideways, What time is it? 7:30. So this was too early. And then looks like 9:30 was the follow through. Nope, 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 no. Look at this. Oh no. So price action wise, right? We had a downwards bear channel and a breakout that immediately failed. Market only does three things: breakout, trend reverse, or stay in a trading range. And instead of breaking out and then failing, so in this case we had a breakout that failed. They could have broke out here and failed again, but they broke out, pin hammer, and then immediate follow through to the downside. Good, very good price action. Very good. Beautiful. Let's see, footsie. Nothing else, huh? What else y'all got? Pound. Ew. No. Pound pair is looking a little wackadoodle. Oh my gosh. Yeah, pound dollar yesterday gave, I think some of you all took this yesterday. This is really late in the session. I would have never. But we'll look at the price action in general just to kind of see. Here's the breakdown. And then the pull off the low, which doesn't make a higher high. And we can kind of just see the breakout here. So if you look at the consolidation, right, we had some down close bars and a few up close. And there's the breakout right there. So whenever you get the breakout, you can kind of see the three pushes a bit better, where it pushes and it rallies into the high. So we have drive, pause, consolidation up high. So you can see all three cycles of the market here, which is nice. And then it breaks back down, it goes sideways and continues to follow through, back down through the low, which is good. That's what you want. You can also see where the longs were getting trapped. And notice once they broke back down, who was caught? Why did I mark off this bar? P1. This was the end of P1, pause P2, pause P3. And when they broke down, you can see they solidified the trap for P1, 2, and 3 in one bar. And they weren't letting them out. Nice. Okay, no pending orders on my other screen. I can log out of this bad boy. Nice. Dollar CAD. Yeah, general reminder, everybody, if you're done trading, general reminder, don't forget to close those pending orders if you've got them, if you left them up there. There's the CAD. No levels triggered today. Closed in breakout. Was this the first day going back up? It was. And this is coming off of a low. Well, this is interesting. Can we get a breakout? Whenever you get a breakout, first thing I do is project that level across. So we're still in breakout. Are we at the high of the week? Yes. On the day, are we making higher highs and higher lows? Let's see, we get a lower low, rally to a higher high, slam back down into a squeeze. That just can't seem to continue to follow through. However, if I was reading this and I was sitting here watching this, they're not letting out the shorts, which is interesting. All right, we've got the Swiss. Okay, this is another one. We closed in breakout on Wednesday. And then yesterday was a first green breakout day one. That instead of making higher highs and higher lows on the day has broken down to make lower lows and lower highs. But And this is somewhat relevant, kind of irrelevant, just because of, this is just a 5-minute chart. They made a higher high, and now they've slammed it back down into the low. A little late in the session, though. And they just engulfed. Not saying this is a trade recommendation. Not, all caps, not a trade recommendation. Still got longs trapped. This is not me using support and resistance. I'm just looking and seeing where is the most likely areas that people have been caught trading going long. Okay, dollar yen. This is another breakout to the low of the week in a first green. That's kind of scary. And this is another one. Lower lows and lower highs on the day after first green day. No setup. Mexican peso. Can you show me the trap and shift of NASDAQ trade today? Don't overcomplicate it, okay? The market traps and pullbacks. Here's the consolidation. This is the beginning of the pullback, right? This is where they made the lower low. They broke down. They went into consolidation. They broke out of that consolidation. Leg 1, leg 2, leg 3. I could be wrong. This could be a breakout. Leg 1, leg 2, leg 3. All right, but the most obvious place where they started lifting price above P1 or P2. So there's the trap. We got people going long, people going long, people going long. They've trapped all of the longs. They're not letting the longs out. 9:30 opens up and shifts away. Studio. Does that make sense? Maybe I miscalculated. Maybe I said, oh man, I think maybe P2 is the trap. Same thing. Don, you have a good one. I'll see you on Monday. Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, it's getting late in the session. I've just been kind of sitting here because I took trades earlier in the session. I wanted to hang out with you all for a bit. Same time, Monday morning, 9:15 a.m. Eastern time. Ready to trade. Fantastic week this week. A little slow start, but it was a good read, right? From the beginning of the week, we looked at the news schedule. We said, hey, no worries. Front side of the week's a little trash. It might be setting up for the back half of the week because the news schedule is set up a certain way. And we were right. It paid off. Patience really paid off for the back side of this week. Yes, I go live every day. I do this every day. Same time. Tell your friends. Just kidding. All right. You all have a great weekend. Get away from the computer. Get out in the sun. I certainly will be. I'm going to go do some kayaking this weekend. Going to be exploring some islands and hopefully some mangrove tunnels. Maybe even do some fishing. You have a great rest of your day and a great weekend, everybody. Stay safe. I'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.